What's up guys, Orain here. So with some recent updates to the iPad Pro and adding things like mainstream global support for mouse pointers, the question has always been, can the iPad Pro actually replace your laptop? I think it's a very valid question, and ironically, my thoughts on this particular question have changed recently. So we're going to talk about that in this video. So without further ado, let's get started. So now the answer to this question actually may differ from user to user based on what you actually use your laptop for. For some users, the iPad Pro can probably definitely replace whatever you currently do with your laptop. For one, if you really think about it, the power is definitely there. And Apple's touting this as probably one of the most highest performing, best performing iPads that they've ever released. And that's saying a lot because iPads are usually pretty powerful and perform extremely well. They're saying that the speed and power of this thing can rival a lot of different traditional based laptops that are currently on the market. The chipsets in here can outperform those laptops. So power was never an issue when you're looking at can your iPad replace your laptop. Another thing that was never an issue is portability. And because portability plays such a key role in laptops, you want your laptop to be as portable as possible. This actually fits another criteria in which the iPad Pro kind of comes in and blows laptops out of the water. It has the power, it has the portability. Now it also has the OS because iPad OS is a little different than iOS, and they've added some other laptop based features into iPad OS just to kind of differentiate it and make it more of a laptop experience for the users. So when you're looking at the new iPad OS, you have things like Sidecar that basically gives you quick access to information when you need it. It has different multitasking options, and they've added the ability to use USB drives and SD support because storage is so important in the mobile space. You can see that on paper, if you stack it up side by side, the iPad Pro basically has everything that you would need to replace your laptop with. But what happens when you take it off paper and bring it into the real world? Does it still stand up to your laptop? Does it still give you the ability to do and perform all the functions you would normally perform on your laptop on the iPad? And that's where it gets a little sketchy, and it really does again fall on a user-based usage case in order to determine whether this thing will actually work for you or not. And when you start to dig deep into it a little bit, a lot of the limitations of the iPad Pro actually fall upon the operating system that's within the iPad itself. If you're looking at a laptop, laptops are just portable based operating systems that are based on full-fledged desktop operating systems. iPad's operating system is strictly a mobile platform based operating system, and you get a lot of limitations with a mobile based platform that you don't with a desktop based platform. You do get some extended functionality. One of the reasons iPads are so good, fast, and keen is because you're not weighed down by a lot of the things that a desktop operating system have, because you're using a lighter, more flexible and fluid mobile based operating system. But you also lose some of those capabilities, like the ability to control your activity monitor or accessing command line, or just the ability to install and run full-fledged feature-packed desktop applications on your iPad. And I think these are just some of the fundamental things you can't do on your iPad that regular laptop users are going to miss. These desktop applications are vastly different from the mobile-based applications. You'll find that the mobile-based applications are very stripped down with the features and the things that they can actually do versus the full-fledged desktop version of these applications. And the iPad just hasn't gotten around to giving users the ability to use that yet. It's definitely there with some apps, but it's not there with all apps. And if you have a laptop, you have full access to all applications, and you don't have to kind of worry about what's compatible and what's not. With the iPad, you kind of have to look at that list. And even with the sheer existence of products like the MacBook Air, Apple's cheapest laptop, Apple themselves is kind of admitting that the existence of the iPad is not really there to replace your laptop. Not for everybody anyway. And on top of that, if you really look at the list of different things you may have to purchase with your iPad to kind of duplicate the laptop experience, as you go down that list and as you add more things, it can become a little pricey. So you're looking at things like probably a keyboard case, hopefully with a trackpad. If not, then you may need a wireless mouse because a lot of people just don't like tapping on the screen of those things. You want some kind of dedicated external storage, maybe a docking station and a heavy duty case. And when you start to add all those accessories to the price of the actual iPad itself, you're actually getting up in price to some of the pricier laptops. And if you're on par with some of those laptops, for a lot of people, it may be better just to buy a laptop versus buying an iPad. So in a roundabout way, it brings us back to the question of, can the iPad Pro really replace your laptop? And again, for some users, yeah, if you're like an email checker or a web surfer or somebody that does very minuscule data processing or any kind of really light things on your laptop, then an iPad can function perfectly because it has a lot of those applications that you can supplement with the applications you use on your iPad, and they're not as feature packed or feature intensive, and the mobile version of those applications will probably work just fine. But if you're a person that does more specific work on your laptop and you're questioning whether this specific application will run on the iPad, then maybe that iPad is definitely not for you. A lot of times, if you're using a desktop specific application or you want that desktop experience on the go, the iPad just isn't going to offer that the way that you would normally expect. So the answer really is, for some users, the iPad Pro can function perfectly as a laptop. For other users, you're probably just doing too much on your laptop for the iPad Pro's operating system to accommodate what you're doing. In the end, what you really have to do is do your research. If you have applications that you specifically use on your laptop, go ahead and search for those applications on the iPad, see if they're available, and see if they have the same features that you would use on your laptop on the iPad. Because a lot of the times, those mobile-based applications just don't transfer feature to feature. Looking at you, Adobe, a lot of your features are gone within your mobile-based applications that you have on your desktop applications. Do your research. Find out if it works for you. If all your applications work perfectly, then you can switch and transfer over to an iPad, and you definitely get a lot of benefits there. But if not, laptops are still really great devices, and there's some really great, affordable, nice, technically advanced laptops available on the market that you can buy that would do everything you need and still be really portable and not break the bank too much.